What is good, y'all? You might be wondering what's on my face again. This is the PSVR2. And then your next question might be, why is it on my face? Is because of the fact that we got the holidays coming around the corner. It's already late September when I'm recording this video, September 20th to be exact. And, you might be wondering, is with No Man's Sky, with all the craze that's been going on, once again, like, Hello Games killing it as usual with their updates, with the latest Voyager updates adding walkable interior Corvettes. The PSVR once again has been used. I've been using this thing consistently, and you may be wondering, is it worth buying this headset for this game, right? Is it worth it? So I'm actually gonna go ahead and take this off. I feel it's a little dystopian to keep talking to you with this thing on, so let me go ahead and take this off. With the holidays around the corner and No Man's Sky adding the new Voyager update, and with every update that No Man's Sky does, it always feels like a massive update, a huge improvement to the base game already, and I'm always finding myself back using the PSVR2, receiving new experiences, experiencing just new things and new perspectives I never thought I would before, right? And it's just incredible, right? So getting straight to the point here, if you have No Man's Sky and you are curious about buying a VR headset, should you do it, and is it worth it for this game, right, in particular, right? And or even further, are you eyeballing it for someone for the holidays, is later on for Christmas, is a birthday coming up, etc., right? I'll start off by saying this. Long story short, I used to always want to be an astronaut when I was a kid, and I'm just gonna let you know, if you give this to a kid, just make sure that there are 12 years or older safety guidelines and health guidelines due to eye development, is that you need to make sure that they are 12 years at minimum age at least. But if you do give it to a kid who has the inspiring dreams, who wants to be an astronaut, who basically wants to do something incredible for the scientific community, like I used to in their future, right? If you give this headset with No Man's Sky, if this kid does not already have this game, this kid is probably gonna look at you as the best parents, aunt, uncle, grandparents, whatever, for a very, very long time. I promise you. I mean, look at the sweater I'm wearing. If that doesn't say anything, right? Anyways, now of course there are other games out there for the PSVR2, right? And there are definitely other noteworthy games such as Metro Awakening, Horizon Call of the Mountain, and your other typical ones like Beat Saber and such, right? But there is something very unique that No Man's Sky has been able to accomplish that I feel like that has been lacking in most VR or games that allow a VR mode, right? So talking about immersion, right? So if you're curious about immersion, obviously, right, our biggest question is, if we want to use a virtual reality headset, how immersive is it? Because I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I don't want to feel like I'm wearing a helmet with goggles, right, when I'm using a VR headset, which is mostly what my experience is using VR headsets here. Now, throughout my time experimenting with VR accessories, I've always noticed a lot of games I play in virtual reality tend to leave me standing still, or the world is coming to me necessarily due to the limitations of VR games and the technology earlier, right? Games like, I remember Doom did a VR version of that game, can be a good example for some people, I feel like, or at least for this video. Like, yes, they still immerse you in that crazy world, and it's a crazy world of action, intense gameplay, but when you compare that core gameplay of Doom in its regular original format and then in its VR format, it feels like a different game, right? And No Man's Sky actually somehow escapes this VR cycle by what feels like taking every aspect of what you can do with a controller, but now in VR, right? It translates very, very well, so smoothly, honestly. And not to mention the physical rubber padding, as I get the PSVR headset here, that goes around your eyes. So specifically, if you look here where the nose sits and everything like that, it actually does a really incredible job at just blocking out any sort of light. And it's really comfortable too. It doesn't it's not flappy, it's not tickling your nose or anything like that. It's a very, very comfortable headset. And in my experience, a lot of other headsets didn't really do such a great job by blocking out light. You could still see the light around you. You could still see, it looks like almost a fisheye because it's like far away from your lens. But no, like the lens are pretty close to your eyeballs, right? And it's actually really, really immersive there, right? The VR2 Sense controllers is what they're called, the VR2 Sense controllers, I don't know what happened there. They still also feel very, very comfortable as well, right? So even after having this headset on for a few years now, they actually just kind of just slip onto the hand, right? Or they kind of just fall onto the hand very well. Obviously, I would make sure you use the safety grips. I've just been using this so much that I've never dropped these things, never. At least these, right? That they just kind of, yeah, they just slip into the hand. They don't feel like you're picking up a bulky controller. They feel light, but they don't feel cheap either, right? Because sometimes when like light is sometimes also complemented with like just cheap material, so it's light, right? But no, like this feels like a quality product here. Even if you still look very, very closely here, I don't know, it is a little bit dark here, but it still has the all the little tiny logos all over it, just like the DualSense controller has, right? And yeah, like especially if you have like special edition or specially made controllers that are a little bit more bulkier or might just weigh like a little bit extra, these feel really good and comfortable to play around, and they don't weigh down your forearms or your shoulders for a long time. Again, I've played for a very long time with sessions like this, never felt comfortable, right? Or uncomfortable, as I should say. The headset itself, as I pick this back up here again, it has like this stretchy rubber padding here in the front that sits a little up right at the forehead. If you remember at the beginning of the video, it sits right around here. It's actually pretty comfortable as well. This whole area as well comes with haptic feedback, which is a really, really nice feature. I will say though, is if you play this with on your head for a while, this will add like a little line at your forehead. So just keep that in mind. And however, that happens because of the fact of this locking mechanism. So you will go ahead and just put this on first, close it, and then you would just tighten this up to kind of secure that, right? So it will sit like in the middle, and then you just kind of tighten that in there, as you can see, right? So just as long as you don't tighten it too tight, you'll be fine. It actually hasn't bothered me, and I actually don't wear a hat with this. I'm only wearing the hat for the video, right? But as long as you go ahead and follow the guidance the PSVR2 setup advises you to follow, you'll get a pretty clear picture, and you'll be comfortable, and it won't bother you even after a very long time, right? So speaking of picture, right, the bigger, I'm sure a really big question in the video, how does it look, right? Because I know it looks cool and the features are cool, but does it actually look good, right? I want to include that I've done again sessions for about 2 to 3 hours multiple times, playing games like Gran Turismo, right? It was a lot of motion induced gaming there. Easily, a lot of people can get motion sickness easily, but I'm able to go ahead and, you know, play a couple hours in sessions in that. Almost a little therapeutic too, if you ask me, being able to drive in the Nürburgring. But anyways, the clarity is surprisingly good, right? With each eye panel, or I think, what is it, or screen per eye, if I'm using the right terminology, they offer, was it a 2000 by 2040 resolution, and if you don't really know what that is, it's actually going to be pretty crisp for a VR experience, right? If you're unfamiliar, it's going to be like 4K visuals. Notice I'm saying like 4K visuals. It's not actual 4K visuals, while still using HDR, and I believe even OLED is included as well, and that they use OLED panels or the OLED screens in there, so the colors are very vivid on top of that, right? Again, I'll have to make sure, but it's not going to be an exact 4K HDR resolution as if you're playing Death Stranding with its visuals, right? But I would say you'll be quite surprised for a VR headset, right? So again, don't expect too much. However, I think you would be surprised, right? So just keep that in mind, right? The only other kind of headsets that would top this are honestly the really high-end brand ones. Like I'm talking about if again, you're gonna be spending at least like the equivalent of like almost a PC for a good VR headset. You know what I mean? This is a beast, right? This thing is a beast, right? I also went and I found this chart here on Reddit, which was supplied by someone named Rory Borealis, if I'm saying that right. If you guys need a visual of the actual clarity increase of the VR headset, all the way in the bottom there, you'll see it's a massive difference from the first PSVR, right? Now, to talk about the big elephant in the room, right, regarding this beautiful piece of hardware, right, is the price. Yes, the price. I was dumb, and I bought this thing day one. And I bought the Horizon Forbidden, the Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle, I believe it's called. At market price, brand new, $550. So a whole other PS5 plus an extra $50. And yeah, you know, however, that yeah, it's basically a whole other PlayStation 5, so just be prepared to really dish out some bread on this device, potentially, right? Best Buy is, I think, last time I checked, as of September, is selling them. They are selling them for a bundle at $400. It's the same bundle I had, which is a Horizon Call of the Mountain, and you get the two Sense controllers and the headset and the little, which also too, which I wanted to mention too, it comes with a little detachable headset piece as well. You can actually take this off. I'm not going to, just for the sake of just making sure it's secure, and they stick onto the sides here, which is really, really nice, you know. Yeah, it comes with that as well, and it comes, I believe, with 1 or 2 charging cables. And yeah, for $400, I think that is a pretty great deal if you ask me. As the holidays come a little bit closer, you could probably see these go on sale and probably even get these at a more discounted price, excuse me. So just do keep an eye out for that. And but yeah, and if you ever played Horizon Forbidden West, you ever played any of the Horizon series, the bundle I got, Horizon, incredible game. Okay, an incredible game, by far one of the most engaging and versatile enemy AI I've seen since games like Alien Isolation, Last of Us. Just being able to experience those machines at like to a 1-to-1 scale, I really can't explain what that feeling is. It's like really, I feel like a little kid, or if you are a New Yorker like me, when y'all used to have the Toys R Us on 42nd Street with the Jurassic Park dinosaur, right? The T-Rex, that was the animatronics. Like, that's what that feeling gives me using this device. And if you want that feeling like that, like, I can't lie, you buying this headset for No Man's Sky, especially if you're a science lover like me, especially if you love space like me, who's always wanted to go up there and it's not looking likely. This is amazing. This is an amazing product, right? And just, yeah, I could just keep going, right? I could just keep going, right? So another thing too, I will say that when you do buy this product, and this is another thing, I would say this probably will be more of like the con, as far as the pros and cons list there, I would highly recommend get a stand and charging base station, please, because when you buy this product, it doesn't come with any sort of stand or nothing like that. It just comes with it, and it just, okay, plug it up in there, that's it. So mind you, it also does get powered on by a Type-C cable, just one Type-C cable, which I think is really, really impressive, right? But yeah, it doesn't come with a stand, nothing like that. And it's like, so you better have a dedicated spot for this so it doesn't get dragged by the wire. The wire is very long, keep that in mind. And then not to mention, you better make sure it's in a safe spot, it doesn't get dragged. If you have pets, put it in a safe spot, please. But if you have a stand like I do here, you can kind of coil it up here and then kind of put it in the back and like put it behind like a desk, and the rest of the wire, like all that slack, put it behind the desk and put it like in a tray or something like that. I have Velcro and stuff, so I'm able to go ahead and make sure like this stand does a lot for me, right? So yeah, so but other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I really appreciate you guys so much coming to this video and checking this out. I hope I was able to kind of help you narrow down a decision on whether or not coming this holiday, if you start saving up now, it might be a lot more realistic than you think. Even though in this economy it's still very, very hard, so I understand it's kind of crazy right now. But if you can do this, if you want to make someone happy, or if you want to really go ahead and you get that chance to be like, oh my gosh, you know what, I'm gonna do it, I highly recommend it. Okay, so again, thank you so much for coming through the video. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.